1 hour ago, Britain crossed a line it can't uncross. Not outside a stadium, not in a backroom deal, inside a courtroom. The sitting Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, was arrested on camera and led out through a side door as the world watched in disbelief. This is the moment that will live on loop for decades. A judge's final words, a fraction of silence, and then movement, precise, rehearsed, almost surgical. Two officers step forward. A hand rests on Starmer's elbow. The other officer reaches for the cuffs. Journalists gasp. A phone slips and clatters to the floor. And Britain, for a split second, forgets how to breathe. He doesn't flinch. His face is pale, calm, but not steady. He glances once toward the gallery, not at anyone in particular, more like at the idea of the country itself, and then he's turned, shielded, and gone. 40 seconds from power to custody. 40 seconds to rewire a nation's sense of stability. Why? That's the word burning through every timeline, newsroom, and living room tonight. Police issued a one-line statement. The arrest has been carried out under lawful authority. Further information will follow. It didn't calm the country. It ignited it. Because when a prime minister is cuffed without charges read to the public, the vacuum fills itself. With rumor, with rage, with 1,000 confident theories masquerading as facts. Corruption? Misconduct? National security? A procedural breach with criminal teeth? Every guess finds an audience. Every audience finds a camera. Let's rewind. This didn't appear out of thin air. For weeks, Westminster hummed with the kind of quiet that means something loud is coming. Sealed filings, late-night conferences. No comment said with eyes that say everything. Anonymous briefings about potential abuses of authority, procedural violations with criminal implications, material under judicial protection. Nothing concrete, everything combustible. The irony is acid. Before politics, Starmer was the law. Director of Public Prosecutions. The straight-backed prosecutor who sold the country a simple promise: clean government, competent government, lawful government. He campaigned on integrity like it was armor. Today, that armor became evidence. He entered court this morning composed, immaculate, carrying the weight of a nation and the poise of a barrister who's navigated worse rooms. He spoke of process, fairness, transparency. He used the right words in the right order. But the script had already changed. The choreography was already written. The officers were already placed. And then the order came. Outside, the shock detonated on a delay. 5, 6, 7 seconds for phones to rise and signals to fly. Then the blast wave. BBC, Sky, ITV cut into programming mid-sentence. CNN International flips its lower third. Breaking. UK Prime Minister arrested in courtroom drama. Within 10 minutes, Hutch, Starmer arrest and Britain in crisis are #1 worldwide. TikTok stitches multiply by the thousands. 2 angles show the cuffs. A third shows the look on his face. A fourth from the corridor captures the moment the doors slam behind him. At the courthouse gates, the street becomes a courtroom of its own. On one side, no one above the law. On the other, defend democracy. Both sides believe they're saving the country. Both believe the other is ending it. Police throw up barriers. Riot helmets appear, not raised, just present. The kind of presence that says, we've planned for this moment too. In the Commons, bedlam. Backbenchers stand and shout over each other. Loyalists demand due process. Rivals demand a resignation, a vote, a reckoning, a reset. Aides run the corridors with eyes like fire alarms. The speaker's gavel cracks the air. Order, order, but order is not something you can summon once the ground itself has shifted. And it has shifted. Because this isn't just about one man or one case. It's about trust. The currency every democracy runs on. And the currency Britain has been spending faster than it earns. Remember the backdrop. Cost of living crushing the middle. Energy bills that outpace paychecks. A winter of rationed warmth. A summer of vanishing patience. Starmer's numbers sliding month after month as competence turned into, why can't you fix this? The country didn't just doubt his policies. It started doubting the story. The idea that grown-ups are in charge and the machine still works. Today, the machine swallowed its operator on live TV. Internationally, The reaction was instant and brutal in its clarity. Washington, monitoring the situation. To Brussels, rule of law must prevail. Paris and Berlin, stability is a European interest. Moscow smiles. Beijing points. State media overseas calls it proof that Western democracies are eating their own. Yet meanwhile, London's diplomats call allies not with answers, but with updates. We will brief you when we ourselves are briefed. It's the sentence no ally wants to hear. Markets flinch. The pound dips, not a crash, but a shiver. The kind that tells you every trader in the city is clearing their afternoon. Defense analysts whisper about Five Eyes, about briefings, about whether the UK can keep its hand steady while the wrist is shaking. Inside Labour, the split is immediate. One camp, circle the wagons. Another, pick a successor by midnight or the party bleeds out by morning. Names bounce off WhatsApp screens like coins on a drum. Reeves, Rayner, Cooper, Streeting. Every name comes with a question. Can you steady a ship while the captain is in cuffs and the ocean is listening? And through it all, a deeper, stranger quiet. The palace says nothing. Not a word, not a whisper, not a leak. Just the crown being the crown. Still heavy, unavoidable. The image is devastating. An empty lectern outside number 10 while cameras stare at a closed black door. And across town, a palace with lights on and curtains drawn. The symbol of permanence against the symbol of crisis. Here's what we know and what we don't. We know the arrest was executed inside the courtroom with pre-positioned officers in a sequence tight enough to prove this wasn't improvisation. We know sealed documents exist. Too many sources have confirmed their existence to dismiss it as rumor. We know Starmer's legal team had been working through the night for 3 days straight. The timing surprised them. The fact of escalation did not. We know no formal charge sheet has been released to the public. That's unusual at this altitude, which means either the matter is classified, the filings are protected by the court, or the system itself is terrified of getting the next line wrong. We don't know the specific statute. We don't know whether this reaches back to his years as DPP or lives in his time as Prime Minister. We don't know if this is the beginning of a prosecution, a holding action, or the first move in something even larger and more dangerous. A constitutional crisis pretending to be a legal one. What happens next? 3 paths, all brutal. Path 1, containment. Charges are clarified within 24-48 hours. Starmer steps aside voluntarily pending proceedings. Labour installs an interim leader. Market steady. Britain pretends this is normal. It isn't, but pretending buys time. Path 2, escalation. No charges, no clarity. Parliament erupts. Mass protests flare from London to Manchester. A no-confidence cascade begins. Foreign partners hedge. Ratings agencies flinch. The phrase emergency election stops being a talking point and becomes a calendar item. Path 3, implosion. New revelations. Cross-institutional conflict. Resignations at the top of the civil service. A legal process that collides with the political timetable. 2 clocks ticking in different rooms, each trying to outrun the other. This is how democracies don't die. They just dissolve. But strip it all away, and you're left with something simple, human, and terrifying. The image. A leader in cuffs. A country staring. A silence that feels like an answer. In a pub in Leeds, a builder points at the screen and says, "About time." In a flat in Croydon, a pensioner whispers, "God help us." In a dorm in Glasgow, a student records a video. If this can happen, anything can. So, they're all right, because images are verdicts, and this image will outlive the footnotes. Tonight, the streets outside the courthouse are still loud, but the sound has changed. It's no longer just cheering or jeering. It's a kind of buzzing dread. The noise a nation makes when it realizes the future arrived early and didn't knock. If Keir Starmer can speak, he must. Not through an aide, not through a lawyer, not through a leak, through a camera. In his own voice, with the one thing Britain can still forgive, the truth. If the Crown must signal confidence in the continuity of government, it should do so in the only way it knows. Wordlessly, steadily, through duty performed in public view. If Parliament believes in itself, it must act like it. Not by tearing itself to pieces on live television, but by proving the old promise still works. Law first, party second, country always. And you watching, sharing, arguing, remember this. The most dangerous thing in any crisis is the blank space. If we don't fill it with facts, it will be filled with fury. If we don't demand clarity, we will be fed certainty by those who profit from our confusion. 1 hour ago, the United Kingdom watched its prime minister leave a courtroom in handcuffs. 1 hour from now, the world will decide what that says about us. And 1 day from now, history will begin writing what we did next. This is News Corps UK. We will stay on this story every minute it moves. Subscribe, share, and tell me in the comments, is this justice or a weapon? Because whatever you believe, one fact is not up for debate. Britain will never see politics the same way again.